Oh my gosh, what is happening? Okay. Can you hear me? Sorry about that. Okay, great. Excellent. So, hey guys, how's it going? Today I'm doing my first live stream ever. It's a game dev stream, so thank you for showing up to it. We've made history here, guys. I think I might be the first person to live stream Palm Pilot game development ever on Twitch. So, thank you for making history with me. So today what I'm going to do is jump into, okay, thanks guys. I'm going to jump into working on Circuit Dude for the Palm Pilot, and it's going to be made in NS Basic, which is like a flavor of Basic that's kind of like old and hasn't been updated. Audio desync? Oh my gosh, 1 second. What is the noise coming from? Okay. I think, is the audio better? Let me know if it's still desynced, because I have a little thing down there that lets me know I'm talking. Okay, cool. Well, basically what I'm going to do is live stream some game development for this Palm Pilot thing. If you don't know what a Palm Pilot is because you're too young, it's this little PDA. It looks like an iPhone, but it's like only black and white. Let me see. I'll switch over to the camera. It's only black and white. It's actually kind of like the Arty Boy, which is the first system that I made the Circuit Dude game for. You can't really tell because it's so far out. Let's see. There we go. But basically, it's a little puzzle game, and I think it'll actually work really well for the Palm Pilot. I ended up porting it to this thing called the BitBoy. It's like a colored version of the game. Let's see if it's focused or not. There we go. Yeah, so you can see it here. So you can actually cycle through different colors for this version. I'll try to show you some more pictures or something at some point. Let me pull up the actual stream page scene thing. Okay, so over here I have a better picture of what the Arty Boy kind of looks like if you're interested. And the Circuit Dude version can actually be played on the Arty Boy website. And at one point it was updated. It was voted like one of the best games for the system. So a lot of people asked me to like update it or include new levels and stuff. What you do is you move around this map and you basically plug in computer chips, and then when they're all plugged in, you can move to the next level. But at some point you realize that once you plug a chip in, you can't really advance past it. So you have to, blow yourself up like any robot would do in a situation like that. So there's 75 levels on this specific version, but people asked me to make a PC version, so I did, and it has like over 120 levels on it, and you can like make your own levels, and it has new features and stuff. So whenever I updated Circuit Dude for the BitBoy and for the Arty Boy again, I went ahead and I updated it to have a lot of those features as well, including a level editor. So people have on this website made their own levels and sent them to me. I did like a competition a while back as well, and some really cool stuff came about from it. But I made, let's see, to kind of make level editing easier, I made this program right here for Windows. You can like make your own levels in this program, save it as a file to back it up, or send it directly to the Arduboy. And since the BitBoy has a little SD card at the top there, you can put those same files on this BitBoy. So you can actually transfer them between these two game systems and play the same levels on there. And since the Palm Pilot has like an SD card as well, little SD card, one of my goals today is to actually, in developing this version of the Arduboy, of Circuit Dude, I want to go ahead and make it to where it can load those same level files as well and play through them. Let me go ahead and show you what I kind of already have right now. That's a cat butt. Oh, I do not have it on this one. Okay, let me go ahead and pull this up then. So like I said, the flavor of the language that I'm going to be using is called NS Basic, and to write with that you need a program called NS Basic as well. And I think for this version you can actually export a game to like version 3 of the Palm Pilot OS. So I want to go as low as I can. Version 4 is what I have on this Palm Pilot, but colored Palm Pilots came out in version 5, and to ensure backwards compatibility they can run anything in 3 and 4. So I want to hit as many Palm Pilots as I can. I think 3 is the lowest I can do with still having some of the features that I want. So you can actually see I have this kind of example page set up. It's called a form. Let me go ahead and just run this so you can see. And by the way, I appreciate all you guys just checking out my stream. I'm on YouTube and Twitch and Mixer right now, and since this is my first stream, I figured I'd just like broadcast it to all of them and see who, you know, viewed it the most on whatever platform, and I try to focus on that platform from moving, going forward. So if you're, a big fan of Twitch or a big fan of YouTube, just make sure you like follow me, or you subscribe, or you comment a lot or something, so I know which ones that you're interested in seeing me stream on. So, all right, so this is like an emulator that appeared from this program. I can actually run all the software that I want, all the Palm Pilot software I want. And I think this is actually maybe OS 4, but with color somehow. I'm not quite sure how they did that, but let's see. Okay, so this is what I have so far for Circuit Dude on the Palm Pilot. Basically, it's a splash screen that is going to have some sort of credits or something. You click through, and then you get to this main page here, and then you can click play, editor, or about. And I want the play and editor button to look the same, or act the same in what they do. So if I click play, I should be able to select the level and see a preview here, but obviously that doesn't work because I haven't been working on this too much. And then you click play, you should be able to play through that level as well. I have messed around a little bit with the code. There's a lot of weird stuff about this language, and if you watch me long enough, you'll be able to see it too. But I made it to where like global variables control stuff like steps and wins. And so you can see it me interacting with it with a button. But I'm not sure if that's what you're supposed to do. If you're supposed to do local variables connected to the each form, but I'm gonna do everything in global variables, like the C++ version of the game. So please stream on YouTube. Okay, I'll do that. All right, so the first thing I probably should do is pull up the source code for the BitBoy version of this game and just kind of show you around some of the code and kind of show you how the levels are loaded. Oh, that's not it. Where did I put that? Oh yeah, retro. All right. So for a lot of this, there's I compiled in the graphics data. So for a lot of this code, it just kind of is random numbers and a lot of data. And somebody was looking at this code the other day, and they were telling me how crazy it looked because of how much just compact data it was. But actually, I compressed a lot of it so that I could save room specifically for the Arty Boy version that only has 32 kilobytes of memory, which is less than the size of this file. So basically I have to turn all this text into less data than this text. And whenever I carried it over to the BitBoy, I actually went ahead and just kind of kept that same compression technique in there. So right here I have a big array of levels stored in this thing called maps. This right here is one level, and I think it is, let's see, how many? 71, 2. I think it's 60, something like that, 68 maybe, characters long, and it represents like 112, I think, tiles in each level. And I've compressed them together because each tile doesn't necessarily need to be 1 byte, since there's not 256 different tile types. So I've basically compressed, I think it's 8 tiles into 5 characters. So I have, if that doesn't make sense to you, that's okay. I'll kind of go back to that in a minute. But I think it's called expand map. Yeah. I have a function that I wrote that basically takes that compressed map and expands it out. And when it takes that file and expands it out, it puts it into memory. And so I interact with it completely in an uncompressed format. It's purely to save space in the memory, in the ROM memory. And then whenever you make your own map, I'm pretty sure I have here a function that's called compressed map. And it just takes the map segments and just pushes them together, puts them back into the array, and then saves them wherever. So we're probably going to use these same functions as well. And because there was a lot of math involved in figuring out how to do that, and I'm not super good with bitmap data or bit data. So yeah. So that's basically how the maps are stored, but each tile type has its own graphics associated with it as well. And those are actually compressed too. And they are located, let's see. Oh yeah, they're right here. It kind of looks ugly, but each one of these is a different tile graphic. We have them kind of in order right above. So whenever the trapdoor is closed, it's 0. A capacitor is 1. These buttons are 2 through 4. This chip socket is 5. And I want to kind of keep the same kind of information and just copy and paste it the best that I can over. So we don't really need to go into too much detail with that. But some of the stuff I don't know how to do in SBasic is the lower level stuff like that. So I think to start, what we want to do is basically get through. We want to use this the screen, and in this box we want to draw the map. And we'll start with just like a black map, empty, blank, nothing, and then we'll go ahead and try to put different stuff to make it some sort of drawing, like just white or black dots or something, and then we'll go and put the tiles in there themselves, and then we'll load the maps, and that's probably all we'll have time to do for the stream. So just pretty basic stuff. And then if we get that working, of course, we'll be able to scroll through all the different maps as well. Later on down the road, you can use that map data to interact with or see how the player character interacts with the different tiles that you're around. You basically, if you're on this position, what's above you, what's below you, what's to the left and right. And these left, up, down, right buttons will kind of help you navigate the map and tell the Palm Pilot, you know, what part of the map to look at and learn how to interact with stuff. So I don't think I explained that too well, but if you already are, you know, kind of into programming, then that's probably like overkill. You probably already knew all that. So let's kind of look at how to draw something in this little area. And for NS Basic, it has basically these forms, which are like windows, as you saw. Like this specific view is one window. It's called a form, and all these components live in it, and you can actually pick them up and drag them around all you want. But we don't want to put Circuit Dude on his own form, his own component, and move that around. We want to actually draw him, just like we would with the Artie Boy that doesn't have something like this. So I've created this box, like I said, and we'll do all the drawing inside that box. But I've actually never done anything with this, so we'll kind of look at it and see what we can do to draw. Oh man, there was a file I was going to download, but I will pull that up right now. Yeah, so this website right here, PalmDB, they do a really good job of basically taking all the old Palm Pilot stuff and just archiving it, because there's so much Palm Pilot games and software that's gone missing over the years. So they also have this programming book for the language. So let's go ahead and search through here and look for interacting with and drawing into the bitmap area, which is actually called, I guess it's just called a bitmap. Okay, great. That's easy enough. What's up, Pipe Warp? Actually, page 93. So let's go scroll through here. Let's go to 93. Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering why I have this this white on me, on my finger, it's because I was very sleepy last night with a big headache. I went to the bathroom, and when I came back, I tripped over my bike and fell onto it, and then I cut my finger really bad on the back of it. And it hurts really bad, even when I type the program. All right, I think we're there. Almost there. Okay, perfect. Oh, actually, you know what? I remember seeing this other page. I'm gonna go back up to it. Yeah, look at that. This is, I think this is basically going over drawing bitmaps to the screen, and we kind of already did that to show the picture of Circuit Dude. But let's see. Yeah, they have an example right here that says you could compare coordinates, blah, 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 blah. And it's easy to create even multi-level, highly graphical games using this technique. Just drawing a box and moving the boxes. So that's what they kind of display here with these cars, but it's kind of slow, I think. So I don't want to do that. Hmm. Actually, it looks like, huh. Okay, yeah. So this the bitmap object inside of NSBasic is a placeholder for a bitmap, which is what I thought it would be. Use a bitmap object. You first put it on the form, then move and resize it to the desired location. Doesn't have an image inside of it, and to add an image, right click the image. So it looks like you add the image as a static image, but I'm pretty sure you could do some sort of dynamic drawing into it. Hmm. Okay, so unlike bitmaps drawn using draw bitmap, the bitmap object can have code attached to it. It responds to the stylus taps. In addition, you can use various methods with the bitmap object, unlike draw bitmap. Hmm. Well, actually, I take that back. This doesn't look like it's going to be as easy as I thought it would be for dynamic drawing. I wonder if it's even possible. Yes, basic dynamic bitmap object. Oh my gosh. One of the things I like about working with older systems and programming on obscure handheld devices is how much like searching you have to do to find the answers. Um, because a lot of times documentation is just missing completely. So you can't really ask somebody in a forum for help or, you know, um, call up a friend or something because it's just kind of obscure and useless knowledge at this point. Nobody really remembers how to do programming on the Palm Pilot. Hmm. Let's look back at the dynamic, um, the what is it called? The draw bitmap. Okay, so I wonder if this can actually work a little bit different than I thought because it just blitz it to the screen instead of drawing an object and then moving the object. It just looks like it draws to the screen every frame or something. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, let's do this then. So in the credits form, is this it? Yeah. Let's try in the credits form since this is the first thing that appears. I'll try looking at the after code. So with forms, they have before code, after code, and events code. And basically, you can think of it as before code is code that runs before the form is created and shown. And then the after code is whenever the form is finally created and displayed. Is there a way to see ASM on the Palm Pilot? Yes, there is. But actually, for me, two things. One, I'm going to take this version of this Palm Pilot version and then put it onto another device later on that uses a similar version of BASIC. So I want to be able to just write the game one time. But this program that I have here for where did it go? My computer's lagging a little bit. I have a version for Visual Basic as well as Visual C++, and the Visual C++ version does not work for some reason. I can't get it to work. So I know that there's a way to do Palm Pilot stuff in C++ using Code Warrior, which is another program that I tried getting to work like a few years ago and I never got to work. I think the people on the PalmDB forum or Discord server should be able to help you out with that. But for me, I just want to try to work on. I just want to like challenge myself and work on it in BASIC. Okay, so back to this. The after code right here is shown in this subroutine, and so I need to put the code in here for drawing something. I guess you just write. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Draw bitmap, and then the code and where you want it to appear on the screen. So I'm going to do 2020. And each bitmap has its own kind of ID associated with it. And I have some bitmaps here that are already put into the system. So you should have an ID right here that I can copy and paste. 1027. And then we can try that real quick. And what I want to test is if the bitmap is drawn and then disappears, or if it stays there. If it stays there, then it means it's drawn once to the buffer and then it just hangs around because the buffer isn't cleared. But if it is drawn once and then goes away, then that lets me know that there's something that's making the form be redrawn constantly, and that's where I'd rather do dynamic drawing because I want this game to kind of update as it's playing. Okay, so it looks like it's drawn one time and stays there. CBPS, true. So let's see. Yeah, sometimes also I found with this program that the graphics that I draw aren't always carried over for some reason. Like the logo is drawn on this version of the program, but earlier when I ran it, it was just a blank spot. I think, yeah, even here too. So I don't know why it does that sometimes. So I hope that doesn't interfere too much with the development, but it might. Okay, so it looks like this guy's saying in this book that you can loop through stuff and draw the image, delay to prevent flicker, and next. What does next do? Luckily, they have a built in. They have some notes that you can take a look at. Where's it at? Language reference, right there. Let's look at next and see what that says. To end a for statement. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Display them in reverse order. That's drawing. Oh wait. This is for the fading one, not for this car thing. Okay. What's the car one? So it looks like this guy here has this code, but it looks like it's going to, if I put it here, it will only run after the form is created, but I don't know if it will update the form and like do an animation kind of thing. I'm pretty sure I have to put this somewhere, like some sort of like main loop or something. That. Actually, S basic main loop. Oh yeah, these are the kind of websites I like to see. Maybe the language reference can help us out. Oh, there's also tutorials. I've never seen this before, so I don't know what it... Oh, I have seen this before a long time ago. I don't think any of these have bitmap stuff in it though. Oop. Yeah, one of the things I like about C++ and C++ and other programming languages like that, they just have like a main function that you can just run through and loop through it. And whenever you have like event-driven programming languages, like like Java or Basic, you don't really have that. And I'm hoping they have some sort of equivalent method that you can call, or subroutine that you can insert stuff into. You know what? I think if I go to view event code, I wonder if I can put something here. Try drawing this bitmap with random locations and see what happens. How do you do a random integer in Basic? rand without an integer, without a parameter. Okay, well, I don't know if that's necessarily true because this here says no parameter and it always returns between 0 and 1. All right, man. Good night, Nikikeb. All right, well, I'm pretty sure what we have to do is take a random number between 0 and 1 and then convert it to an integer after multiplying it by 10 in order to get a number between 1 and 10. So let's go casting. It returns the integer portion of a number. We'll calculate the results. Yep, that's what we want. So I think this is what we need. So what this will do is calculate a number between 1 and 10, and then we'll draw this bitmap at some location. Maybe we should multiply it by like 100 or something. It's more of a difference if it actually runs. Expecting a numeric variable or numeric constant. All right, well that doesn't make sense. Let's try putting it into a variable real quick. See what happens. Oh, I think I forgot the A. That's definitely my fault. It's kind of embarrassing. All right, compiling it to see what happens now. So it looks like it might have drawn it, actually. But, can't quite tell because of the picture's broken like I mentioned earlier. Actually, you know what? It looks like it is drawing it, but it's doing an event. But I'm not sure what that event is, which event it's talking about. Any event? Any event does it? Look at this, watch, when I click, whoop, it moves. Moves again. Man, this is weird. I guess any event fires this form event, which maybe it's just a click event. Let me do a button, see what happens. Even a button event. I wonder if you have to do I wonder if there's some sort of event that fires every frame. Let's look at these events real quick. Hmm. And so if you're a little lost, just to recap what we're doing right now is trying to get this form to draw multiple times in a row through some sort of method so that we can have some sort of code associated with it, with that event or within that loop or wherever it's at, where the map is redrawn every time that loop goes through. So it can just draw the levels that we want to do. But the reason why we want to do that is because there's going to be like pieces of the map that rotate and change and have animation playing with them and stuff. So we want that animation to constantly be running, even though we are not touching anything, not clicking any buttons or touching the screen. So let's look at these events. Event. It is passed to the forms of code. Okay, so it looks like we could, inside of this event form or this event subroutine, we could probably read these event types and then execute something. So you could figure out, if the player pushes the up or down button, which comes in handy for later if we want to make it to where they can move around the screen with the buttons instead of the touchpad or the touch screen. Okay, look at like this. Look at this. It says MBS form update. That might be what we need. Oh my gosh, there's only one result for that. Why would they? Time to go to Google. Oh shoot, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, search doesn't work. Forms, 2 numbers, gonna pop up. Nope. Event. What kind of event stuff do they have in this? Adding numbers. Oh, you know what? It's possible that we could look at the events for this object. Nope, only one. Only one. We can try this real quick too. It's a because I have the global variable for these number of steps, which I totally didn't show you guys. Increase step will actually increase the step whenever I click the up button. It interacts with that global variable. I wonder what happens if I just throw that function into this object event code. I wonder if this is how I could automatically update this. Let's loop. I'll let that run because it takes so long while I kind of continue looking. Doesn't look like it does. But if I click on it, it does. So I guess there's just one single event, which, I don't know, it throws me off. Usually you can have all sorts of events on these kind of objects, but that's probably what's limiting about this framework. Let's see. Okay, so like this is kind of interesting right here. Module thing. It's like a library. Some sort of code that you can grab from anywhere within your application, but that's probably where we would want to draw the code, write the code to draw the map, so we can get that same code, that same function in the different forms, so we don't have to duplicate the code. But we want to, for sure, figure out how to at least draw something multiple times in a row before doing that. Event here. I'm telling you, we gotta figure out what the event is before we can even start drawing any of the fun stuff. All right, let's look at this. Oh my gosh. Almost nobody's talking about this event. It's going to be really hard to find what we need. Wait, is this the same exact file? It is. Okay. New event type. Use this event to redraw your screen when the OS messes up. I see. Okay, so I don't think that event's going to help out too much. Thanks, man. Appreciate that, Tariq. How would we draw this, and how do we loop through stuff? I was looking at this earlier and I thought, oh, it'll be easy to find what we need, because one of the examples is literally a car driving, and they said that you can make fun games that way. But how do you make something drive around without updating the screen? Kind of read through this, I guess. Most of your bitmaps will probably not be the size of your entire form, although the form size bitmaps can be used to place background graphics of the form. You'll need to use the show method for any objects that you wish to display on top of the bitmap, of course, since the act of drawing the bitmap covers any underlying form objects. The bitmap does not become part of the application until it is compiled, so changes can be made to it at any time using your favorite paint program. Okay, that's pretty obvious. Since you can draw a bitmap at any form window or window location, it's fairly simple to provide some animation to your program. So this guy does kind of what we did, except for it's in a for loop where it'll loop through and kind of redraw this bitmap in a different location. I guess the hunch was maybe whenever it draws something, it automatically updates. So we could try that real quick. But I'm not too sure that's going to be our answer that we need, because we want this continually drawing and updating. Okay, the bitmap ID is 106, where a small car would create the illusion of a car driving across the portion of the screen. Let's see that again. Let's try doing the Y instead of X. See what happens with that. So you could compare the coordinates and size of the bitmap with the position of other screen objects to determine if a collision occurred. It's easy to create events. Oh shoot, I didn't even realize this was cut off for you guys. There we go. It's easy to create even multi-level, highly graphical games using this technique. In addition to drawing the same bitmap in different positions, you can draw different bitmaps in the same position for different effect. Using the same image but with different brightness, you can make an image fade in or out. I mean, that's cool, but do we really want to? Wait a minute. Okay, I have an idea. What if the way to create an event-driven loop that we want is similar to JavaScript, where you have to do some sort of set timeout or set interval? I wonder if you have to do that. So we have to specifically declare what kind of interval we want our loop to move at, and then we could create like a 20 frames per second game or 50 frames per second game. Actually, I don't know what would even work, because the screens on these were okay at the time, but not great to today's standards. So. Oh my gosh. So moving worked with that idea, which was to simply draw the bitmap 100 times in a row and do that in one event after the form loaded. But I don't think that is a great idea, because we can't control that event. There's nothing we can do to ensure that it goes forever without tying up any of the other calculations we'll have to do. Yeah, I don't think anything can run at 60. That's why I said 20. Like 20, I think 20 frames per second might be pushing it even. Like 10 for sure could be done, 30 maybe, 20 that's pushing it. Okay. Okay, there we go. So it looks like it's drawing using the after event as well, but it's running into that same problem where the bitmap doesn't actually compile down. I'm gonna guess that if we try again, it might actually properly convert the file in images. But that's not a big deal. We'll figure that out later. Okay. I think this hunch of setting a timeout or setting an interval is the right direction to go down, the right path to look up. Okay. Let's see if we can do that. Interval. What would it be called? Maybe something to do with time. I'll search for time or frame. Button repeater frame. Loop. Main. Maybe main. No. Okay. I'll look up interval. Timer. Timer feature allows you to generate your own events that fire after a set interval. That's what I'm looking for right there. That's what I'm looking for. If I can make it to where I could just have like a looped set of like movement, like literally the image moving in like a loop or something, then using this kind of timer, yeah, that would work. Look, this even has it as well. Has the code. Set info set assist info set timer 3000. Sets the timer in 3 seconds. To respond to this timer event in your program, use something like this in your events script. If get event NBS timer, then okay. Let's try this. Oh man, I'm so excited. Even when stuff is like really hard to figure out with all this like old tech and random stuff that like everybody's seemed to have forgotten, when I find something out finally after like searching for a long time, it just gives me like a lot of energy. It's like a big rush. It's like an inspector figuring out who done it. The form. Okay. So if we set the timer, the system timer, we'll be able to read that timer when it goes off. And then we can even set another timer. That's interesting. For the this drawing bitmap stuff, I'm just gonna comment that out for now. Oy. Google. I'll just comment that out for now, and I'll worry about this timer stuff real quick. Pop up with like a message box or something. And so after this form loads in the after code, that's when we want to set the initial timer for 3 seconds. Let's see what that does. Oh, syntax error. Get events. Get E event? Is that a typo? Did they spell that wrong? Get a E event. Get E event? Get event type. Oh, I guess that's an old piece of see, the documentation is even outdated. Even whenever it was new, it was outdated. So let's try this, and then we should see a message that pops up every single time. A message box over here that says timer event received. Excellent. Wait a few seconds. There we go. So using the same method, we could actually get animations working now. Okay. Go ahead and draw that bitmap. But we'll draw it at a different Y position. Oh, forgot. Can't forget to do that. We'll do that. Let's say every second we can draw this bitmap one frame down, and we'll do global. Is it dim global? Yeah. Global y as int integer, and then y equals to 0. No, 12. So I'll set a y value to 12 in the after for the form, and then during the event, it'll be increased every single time that the event fires. But we have to set the initial timer as well. So, okay, this is getting better. And you know, if the animation has to move like 5 frames a second or something, I think that's okay, because this game is not super duper graphically compelling. Actually, I wonder if the message box event pauses the thread. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. So this is moving at 1 frame a second right now. And it's actually a pretty big image too, so. Let's test it out. Let's do 10 frames a second. Let's see what happens. I think it'll be able to keep up, but if you notice, there's not the background isn't updated, so there's no like way to like easily clear that frame buffer. I don't know if it's like a hardware buffer or if it's a software buffer that never gets cleared or what. But that's not a big deal because we're only going to be drawing stuff in a box, and so we'll just erase everything whenever we want to clear the screen and do animations and stuff. What's the control scheme? Well, let's see. Whenever you play, you can use the up, down, left, and right buttons on the screen, or you could use like the up and down button. And a lot of games on Palm Pilot will let you push like this phone button and this list button to move left and right. So I think I'll do that as well. And then the temperature button's right here. So it's just like a on-screen D-pad, nothing super special. All right, so compiling down the 10 frames a second version. I should actually come up with like different example images because these are huge. Oh my gosh, 10 frames a second. That is beautiful. Okay, let's try 20 frames a second. Is that right? Okay. By the way, if you were wondering, this is a Taylor Swift shirt. I got it when I went to her concert 3 years ago. Great story. I accidentally gave a 12-year-old girl a panic attack. But I'll share that later on, I guess. Wait, why didn't that work? Oh, there we go. I can't tell if that's 20 frames a second or not. Did that seem double the speed? Accidentally. I promise, it was an accident. Okay. Let's do... What's 20 times... Okay, I don't want to do math right now. All right, that speed looks fine. If that's the maximum speed that we can get, 15 frames a second, I'm fine with that. I'll just put it back to 10 frames a second for now. Let's do this. Let's open up a one of the best graphical programs in the world right here. Right, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some an example sprite, I guess, for the map drawing, and we'll just tile this every second or every 10 times a second or something, and then we'll tile it to be the size of the map, and then we'll kind of alternate between multiple tiles. Yeah, I think that's 6. The original graphics are 8 by 8, 8 pixels by 8 pixels, so I'll just do this for now. Oh, actually, I think I need to do this. Properties. Right. Okay, so let's go ahead and add that tile in, and we'll use that instead of this big image. Oh, I totally clicked the wrong thing. Oh, one of the things I do like actually about the Palm Pilot and the way that this IDE works is that whenever you import a bitmap, you can actually see here that you can have multiple bitmaps stored in the same like image property like set. Like 1-bit version of the same image, a 2-bit version of the same image, and it goes all the way down to like high-res 16. And that's stuff that like even Android Studio has kind of carried over like that tradition. So I really like that they did that. And it makes making sure that like this program works with future versions. I think this will compile down to like a 3.0 version, so you can run it on old Palm systems, but still have the data for like colored or 8-bit graphics. So you could even load it on like Palm 5.0 and have color as well. So it's like forward compatible and backwards compatible. But I'll have to test that because like I said, I've never owned a Palm 5.0 unit. Okay. So the tile that I just pulled in as a, oh my gosh, wait a minute. Title, okay. Let's call this one example tile. It has a code of 1093. So I'll draw that one up here, 1093. And I'll just go ahead and run that so it'll load while we're looking at this code. What do we want to do? I guess we can start working on the tiling of it. And what I do for that is I just do 2 loops, one for horizontal and one for vertical. But I want to make sure, oh, look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. I want to make sure that I do it in the same direction that I do in the Arduboy version, because every time I've like reprogrammed this game, I've ended up reversing it for some reason. So, and the reason I reverse it is because I also named them wrong in the map. So if someone's ever looked at my source code, but it looks like I draw the Y and then, or I look at Y and then X. So what we want to do is set the timer at the end again, but we also want to do for I, actually I don't know if you need to have that already set, but we'll try it. For I y equals to 0 to, I think it's 8, and then next. So this will be our loop, and it'll actually draw the Y position properly, but we also want to do a X position. So for X equals 0 to, I think, 12. We can fix that later if it's wrong. But basically this will draw in two dimensions the map that we want every 10th of a second. Okay, so it looks like I need to actually Y. Looks like I need to actually instantiate those variables. But I wonder if you can do for dim. Nope, maybe not. Oh, of course. Of course. I've only used the Y direction. Okay. We know Y works now. You know what? While that's loading, let me go ahead and make a few other tiles in Paint, and we'll use that to kind of do some proof of concept stuff. Oh, what the heck? What was that? What? So weird. Why is my computer chugging? It can't even do paint. Why is it so slow? That was not as cool. Nope. Oh, there we go. That one's cool. Tile3.bmp. So you can see in here in this image what an example level looks like. So we should have it didn't work again. Oh, there we go. Why did that not work? I think this IDE is broken a little bit. Okay, we'll let it run again and check it in a second, but we should basically see something looking similar to this size up here on the Palm Pilot screen, not just up and down, but also left and right. And we'll use these new tiles as well to kind of add a little bit of deviation. Oh, perfect, look at that. Okay, so let's input these bitmaps. I wish I could do folders, but I think at some point I'll probably have a map of bitmaps, like literally like a sprite sheet, and we'll draw portions of that if we can. Otherwise, I don't think we'll be able to do animated stuff unless we can do that. Let me add that third one in. Okay, that one. Okay, 93, 94, 95. So right here where I'm drawing 93, what I want to do is I want to know if I should draw 93, 94, 95 to kind of change up what this map looks like. And the way you might think is that every single tile is stored on its own in order. And like I said earlier, the compression algorithm basically ruins that idea. So you wouldn't do that with the compressed maps, but loading the levels actually decompresses it and then puts it into RAM. So somewhere I'll be able to grab an actual version of this map uncompressed. So we can go ahead and program it out to draw that way and not have to worry about it later on. Usually I would have some sort of array or something, but I'm not sure how to put that in except for a global. We could load it from a file, but I don't want to spend too much time figuring out how to do that. So we'll just go ahead and for now say we'll have another variable called offset, and we can at the beginning of the event dim offset equals to 0, make it equal to 0 of course, and then every single time you loop, every time we draw one, we want to increase offset by 1. And then if offset is greater than 2, then offset equals to 0, and then we'll end that if. Forgot. Can't do that. All right, let's try this. So they should kind of loop through the 3 different tiles that we have, and it'll make it look a little bit better, a little bit more interesting. Perfect. It's exactly what we wanted it to look like. Okay. So let's go ahead and put this into an array. We'll figure out how to do arrays. And it looks like they don't have an array data type. Okay. Array. I looked at basic and then okay. In this basic array. Oh wow! Looks like this website right here is dedicated to it. NS Basic, the iPhone, iPad, and Android, and more. Wow! I'm actually surprised that somebody kept updating this to work with that kind of stuff. Okay, let's look for arrays. Actually, there isn't one. Maybe it's called list. We'll check that out. List object. No, I think list is like a drop-down module for this when you have like a list of items that you can click on. At one point, I did do something with arrays, and I know they're possible. Like, maybe it's not on here because they forgot. Okay, let's do global test. Yeah, I don't know, man. How do we do NS basic arrays for Palm, not for the newer version? Oh, actually, they have arrays in this document. I should have looked it up here too. Oh, okay, so global name array. If you just let's look into that a little bit more. It looks like you don't even call it an array, you just call it the name. Well, so let's do levels, and then how many? Let's say 100 for now. As integer. What, that'll create an array of integers called level. Does that compile? It does compile, so Let's keep looking into the arrays real quick. We want a two-dimensional array. And it looks like you can create a two-dimensional array using a comma. It makes a lot of sense too. Okay. Okay, so what we'll do is we will say, not levels, because we don't care about how many levels there are. We'll say 8 and what was it, 12? We'll just have one single level, and we'll contain bytes, because I see that we can use bytes here, right? Yeah, so this guy uses a text buffer for bytes. I'll just use bytes as well. And you know what? I think it's kind of fun. Could probably do this. No, let's not do that. Let's not do that. We can make a for loop, and similar to how we have two loops here, loop through them, and then populate level with something. But how do we access the data inside of level? It looks like we just toss in the variables into the parentheses as well. Okay, that's kind of cool. Equals 0. And then we'll have just a few random ones. So like 1, 1, we'll say that equals to 1. And then we'll say level 2, 2. We can have that equal to 2. And level 3, 3, and we'll have that equal to 2. So what we're doing is we're populating this level, this 2D array, as a basically all filled with zeros, except for a few specific locations, and then we'll go through and draw that level like this, instead of using the offset variable, which would just increase. And now we have this one that has specific data stored into it. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, looks like I messed that up somewhere. Right and left side of equal must be the same type. Oh, because I did byte instead of integer. So I'll just do integer for now. That's not a big deal. First time for Palm Pilot? You know, when I was a kid, the very, very first thing I ever programmed for my entire life, besides web pages, was for Palm Pilot. And that was using something called HB++, which is very similar to this, but I feel like a little bit nicer and better. But when I reached out to the guy who, like the company who still owns the rights to HB++, the programming language and IDE, basically he told me he would sell me a license key for $100, and that it's like 20 years old, so I don't know why he was trying to still sell me a copy, and it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So I just figured I'd use this instead. But it was like 15 years ago, first thing I ever touched to program for, and then I really didn't know how to program. I just messed around with it. So have I programmed for the Palm Pilot before Bagel Master? Kind of, but kind of not. Okay, let's see what this map looks like. Uh-oh. illegal subscript equals 0. Something happened. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, so actually I broke the emulator because I did something wrong. 8 by 12? What did I do? So I iterate through. Let's try not drawing anything and see what happens. I think the setting of 0 is where the issue is. Wait a minute. I did it again. I know exactly what the issue is. The issue is that I allocated memory for X in this array right here with a width of 8. I needed a width of 12 and a height of 8. So pretty sure that was the issue. Do that from time to time. Let's just reset this emulator real quick and test it out. Okay, I don't know what that was all about. I might actually have to kill this emulator and actually erase all the memory for it, because I think I wrote to the heap somewhere where I wasn't supposed to. Okay, I think I did. Which probably it probably would have bricked my Palm Pilot if I tried it on my actual Palm Pilot instead of the simulator. So I'm glad I have that instead. Holy cow, it froze my program too. Alright, we'll just restart it. No big deal. It just takes forever. Man, I've consistently had over 10 to 15 viewers on this stream. I really appreciate, guys. Thank you for not leaving and chilling and just kind of hanging out. Okay, let's try to move it over again. And if it doesn't work one more time, then I'm probably breaking this somewhere else and I don't even realize where. I'll have to double check again. Right, come on. Oh, it loaded, but it broke. Okay. Give me 1 second to try to figure this out, guys. Where could I be? Probably accessing this data somewhere I'm not supposed to be. 0, 1, or 2. Okay. You know what? I'm going to take a hunch and say that it might be in the draw bitmap. I'll try running the code without that, see what happens. Oh, it's still broken. Okay. Okay, so creating the global variable, the global 2D array with integers 12 to 8. Let's try making it. Actually, you know what? The for loop might be inclusive. The for loop may be inclusive. So let's do 13 and 9 instead. And if this doesn't work, then I know exactly what the issue is. I mean, if it does work, then the issue is that it was trying to draw outside of the map. And I guess while this is loading, I can talk about a little bit about the Palm Pilot as well. So the Palm Pilot on the top of it has like this infrared sensor up here, and you can send files between different Palm Pilots. Like back in the day, you could send like, I don't know, important like Excel spreadsheets or something. But what I used it for whenever I was in middle school was to turn my Palm Pilot into like an infrared remote, and you could, from across the room, because of how strong they are, like turn on any TV or turn it off or play around with stuff that you're really not supposed to. In school, just turning the TV off randomly when there's a presentation was something fun, and I never got caught, so it was always a fun thing to do at school. But that being said, one of the things I want to do with this game is I want to make it to where you can also submit your custom levels to other Palm Pilots through the infrared port as well. Let's see if this one works. It's taking a long time to compile and send over. Oh my gosh. Because the emulator broke again. Okay, let's try running it one more time. Oh my gosh, it crashed again. What the heck is going on? Oh. Oh my gosh. This is ruining my day. Oh, I think it's not popping up properly. I think I have to click that OK button before touching the emulator. So next time I'll try to do that. But let's see the for loop here. And if this doesn't work, I have no idea what to do. Well, we'll figure it out. Okay. Oh my gosh, it crashed. Okay. So, man, I'm not sure what the issue is. So I think what I'm going to do is comment a bunch of stuff out and then figure out that somehow fixes it. And then while it's loading, I will pull this back up. Okay, well, it looks like the application ran perfectly that time. Let's try to just set a few values without using the loop and see what happens. I have a feeling that this is either inclusive or maybe the values are 0 indexed or something stupid like that. What is this? Chapter 36, or page 36. Let's look at that. All right, this is supposed to be arrays right here. So let's see if they do a for loop. They do a for loop, but they start with 1. All right, if this is not 0 indexed, that's the issue. That is so dumb. That is so dumb. That means it starts at 1 instead of 0, which I've not seen a programming language do this in a long time. So that was the issue. That was the issue. It's that arrays start at 1 instead of 0 for some reason in this language. So it looks like it's working now the way we want it. So we're drawing the map, and I have here the 3 irregular pieces that I drew. 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, and 3, 3, and you can see here 1, 1, 2, 2, and 3, 3 all look different. Okay. Okay, so what we can do now that it does that, is say, we can have an if statement actually. We'll have an if statement here when we're drawing it in the loop, this weird loop that we invented. If level at xy does not equal to 0. So we want to draw the piece only if that's not 0, which, like we said earlier, is mostly everything except for these 3 pieces. So go ahead and do that, but I think that will have a syntax error. Yeah, I think we actually have to say if not. It's like, is it? Let's see. Oh, comparison. Let's see. Oh my gosh. So we actually have to say if equals. What? I don't see it. Let's see if this works. I don't think it will. And it worked. It didn't highlight the highlight the word not to be blue. I don't know how to turn VODs on Twitch, so I'm not sure, but I will for sure, Daniel, make sure that this video is available on YouTube. So the YouTube channel that you're looking at now, you should be able to watch it. And if you want to see where it is and you're on Twitch right now, for those of you who are on Twitch, right there is my website with my Twitter, but under that is my YouTube channel and my Twitch channel and my Mixer channel, so you could choose what thing you want to watch, like what platform you want to watch this on. But yeah, if you're going to bed, man, good night. Thanks for checking it out. And actually, I'm hoping to wrap this up in the next 40 minutes. So hopefully, if you come back and watch it later, you'll see that we actually have like a working map or something, drawing similar to the version that you might see on the Arduino Boy. Oh. Oh, actually, the my camera was having a little bit of an issue. Give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. But that was a weird coincidence right there. Okay, well, appreciate you sticking around, Daniel. Hopefully I don't let you down. Okay, so we have here now the tiles being drawn the way we want them. All of them are drawn except for the ones that are equal to 0. And so what I'm going to do then is actually, instead of instantiating them all to 0, I'll instantiate them all to -1, and I'll draw them if they're not equal to -1, which gives us another tile that we can use to draw. If you look at the circuit dude for the Artie Boy version, this black empty space can be like -1 or something like that. Let me pull up the actual code. And I actually have, I think, in the blocks array, this is the C++ code again for the BitBoy actually. I think I call it blank, and it's actually has a value of 7. So maybe I'll go ahead and just put that they all equal to 7, just to kind of future-proof this a little bit and to remind me later on. So if it's not equal to 7, we'll draw it. If it is, then we'll skip it. So. In fact, I think actually if I remember something from this code, I'll be very happy. Buffer level map, is it called level map? Something map. Oh, current map. Current map. Okay, dang it. Okay. Okay, so we have everything invisible except for 1, 2, and 3. 0, 1, and 2, which is good. But we want to actually offset this a little bit. So let's do this. Let's do global x offset equals to 12, global y offset equals to 12, and we'll use these values over here in the loop, and instead of drawing the tiles at this coordinate x times 8, we'll have x offset plus, and then same thing with y, and that'll kind of move the window or the level being drawn from up here down here, so that we can be outside of the range of this title bar. It'll be more in this area, but I'm not going to recompile that just because it'll be more exciting when we see it later. What about, we have the dummy data working the way we want it, but I want to have some actual real level data, and I don't want to have to type out every single tile like we have here. Maybe I can do something else for now. Maybe we'll just draw like the border. So we'll set everything to 7, but if if x equals to 1, then instead of 7, we'll do 0. And if x equals to 12, same thing. If y equals to 0 and y equals to 8. And so what this will do, even though it's a little crude, is it will draw a border around the level as it'll appear. Oh, let's see. Oh, I forgot. Can I do this? Let's see. I hope I can. Nope. Nope. Y offset equals to 12. Okay, now let's try. Perfect. Well, not perfect. Oh, y never equals to 0. Y always starts at 1. Okay, that's why the top isn't working. But pretty much I have a border around this level. So you can kind of start seeing how this map might work for this kind of game where you move your character along. Let's actually do something crazy. Let's see if we can take one of the real levels that I have here. Where's it at? I think it's called maps. Yeah, right here. The real levels that are in this game. I think there's 70 or 75. And I'll take this level and put it into the NS Basic, as well as the uncompress, decompress, is that what it's called? Uncompress. Oh, expand map is what I called it. Oh, yeah. So this function as well. It's going to be a little bit tricky because I don't know how to do some of this stuff in NS Basic, but we can try to convert it over a little bit line by line. So the first thing we want to do is get rid of is custom, because we don't care about that. Anything that has to do with custom stuff here, we just want to there we go, that's it. So actually we don't need to even know the level either. So we'll get rid of anything that's maps L. That's how we would get the maps that are stored in ROM for the Arduboy version. I'll call it level or something like that, and over here we'll put level equals that. Current map, remember, and this is actually this level, this global level, and I'll just rename this real quick to current map match, and level, current map. Actually, I think this is fine. And revert that back. And level. I'll run that while we're working back over here, converting this. So current map, we're doing something similar. We're calling it current map. This buffer, oh my gosh. Having some issues with my camera. Give me 1 second. All right, there we go. So the buffer that I have over here is basically like a temporary storage for this map as it's being loaded in, but it's being grabbed from level and being put into current map with this crazy complex crap. And then if the level's custom, then we do all that. But we actually don't really need to do that. We don't need to worry about anything with its custom. So this is more or less what we need to worry about right here. Car C is basically the character within this level. So each level has these characters, but they're each bytes actually. So let's see what it looks like for this program. Make sure it has the border perfect. So it's drawing the border as we'd expect. Let's look to see what an array of characters looks like, or array of bytes. A nibble. Did you see that? No, I didn't make this up. Since a byte has 8 bits and a nibble is a small byte, somebody thought it would be cute to create a 4-bit value called a nibble. They don't write books like that anymore. Okay, anyways, a byte is defined as 8 bits. This is actually what we store the levels, like the level data in when it's compressed. And we're wanting to convert basically all these numbers into a single level. So we'll use this algorithm for that, but I gotta figure out how to take those bytes, those characters, and put them into those numbers and put them into this NS basic. And it looks like it might just be straight up numbers like I thought it would be. So text buffer. Okay, as byte. See what this looks like. The only place in here. Okay, since that's not very helpful, let's look for language reference and see if they have anything about bytes. And this window is so tiny because the software was made a long time ago. Hey, what's up, Zero Dindy? I'm doing okay. I hurt my finger though, look at that. That's what happens when you program too hard. Okay. So it looks like it does have bytes here. When it talks about like setting values to something. Let's just go ahead and test it, I guess. I'll make a byte. I'm making me hungry. I'll make a byte and see what happens. Global test as byte. And then test equals to let's do 123. And so if this is okay, that didn't work. 0x00. Let's see if that's the format. Nope. NS basic byte. Let's see what we can find online. Appreciate that. Thanks, guys. NS basic. Actually, what we want to find is somebody using a variable, a byte variable. Nope. As byte. Nope. Okay, here we go. Oh, look at that. Okay, you see that? So he actually takes CHR. They use CHR to convert it to a byte. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere. So that's how you're supposed to X as an integer. So this says returns a 1-character string. That's not what I want. Is it? Okay, let's try this. Let's try CHR and see if that actually works. 1, 2, 3. And it looks like it works. So, oh, thank you, man. Appreciate that, Zero Dindy. Yeah, I got this shirt at a concert actually in 2016. She came to Austin, and that's where I live now. And it was her only concert that she did for the entire year, and I got to see it. It was really cool. Well, maybe it was 2017 now that I think about it. But really good concert. All right, so it looks like the code ran. Huh. How can I store this data properly? She's a good artist. You know, I didn't like her Reputation album as much, but the concert was right before that, so I didn't have to experience any of that. But her new album is really good. I really like it. Okay, so where we're at right now, we have it to where it's drawing the levels, or drawing a 2D array using tiles. And we're going to use that 2D array for our level. But what we want to do is basically use a real level from Circuit Dude to draw with. We want to convert this line of numbers into something that NS Basic can understand. And the problem is that I would have to type in CHR next to every single value in this entire thing. And in fact, all of my maps would have to be like that as well. All of these numbers would need to be surrounded by that, and I that's not a good use of code. That would take up too much memory, actually. It wouldn't be the best way to do it. So I wonder what you would use for a byte array in this basic. Byte array, byte buffer. C-byte? Huh. Okay, so this says in text mode in out, buffer is represented as strings. In binary mode, they're represented as byte arrays. Okay. I want a byte array. That's what I want. That's what I have in Circuit Dude. They're arrays of bytes because they're unsigned characters. I wonder if there's anything that we can look up for. I mean, it in this specific thing of help, it did not have anything about bytes or arrays. So I doubt it's going to have anything about C bytes or some sort of array of bytes. Yeah, nothing. I wonder if we could do something. How to pass array to static C ++ DLL. This might actually have something. Nope, because it has a new array. You know what? I wonder if I can do this. I wonder if I can say test4 as byte, and then I can say test equals array, and then I can say chr 0. I wonder if I can do that, because if we can do that, it's more manageable. Missing required levels of subscripting. I don't know what that means. Oh, because it wants me to actually say what the index is. Man, that's annoying. I really, how do you read a file then? How do you do file stuff if you don't have like buffers? Reading and writing data. We could try this. Right? Byte. Reading string data from yeah, how do they do that in this basic file? Oh, BS basic, that's funny. Take a memo. This sample shows you how to safely write to the built-in memo database. Okay, don't want to do that. Save. Read data. Okay, let's see what this looks like. No, can't look at data. I mean, can't look at the examples. Huh. Hope. Head notes. Okay. Array, byte. The bits and bytes lib. Man, I feel like we're kind of stumped here. Yeah, without a clear way of writing an array, what would we do? I guess maybe we could do this. Maybe we could add some sort of resource to this. Add a resource and then load that resource so we could actually save like the byte file as like a txt or something like that. And it doesn't look like you can do that. Hmm. I don't want a module. I don't want that module yet. I'll do a module later, but not now. Man. Going back to this again. In this basic byte array. Hmm. I feel like I'm overlooking something. I've got to be overlooking something. And it has to be in here somewhere. Because he has, in this example, in this document, they have right here, this text buffer as a byte array, but they don't ever declare it. They never use it. So they have here an instantiation. What is a database? Maybe a database is what I need. Maybe that's some sort of special data file or data type, something that contains data. So let's look up that. Look that up. Nope. No. Oh wait, DB. Looks like DB is whatever it is. DB, because look at this. This says dim, this says a database, and this creates a database, opens it, sets a position, puts it, and then closes. So I'm pretty sure you could read. This code writes the 10,000 element array in less than half the time on my device. So far, so good. We want a database of a large file, and when I say large, I mean this file is probably going to be like 16 kilobytes or something like that, maybe less. But let's look up database and see what we can find out. Maybe that's what we actually have to do to get the data all in one place where we can read it properly. Okay, so it looks like it says when stored in databases, NS basic variables have different length. Byte uses 8 bits. Perfect, that's what we need. Keep looking. Database management, 196. Maybe that number is off, but it looks like right here is what we want, 195. Huh. NSBasic provides a powerful set of database manipulation functions that allow you to access records sequentially, forwards and backwards by read position, record position, and based on the content of data field with keyed access. But what are these used for? And can I pull out? The most important thing is with these databases is if I can have a default database created that the game loads up. Because I could have two databases, I guess. A database for custom levels and a database of normal levels. But that might be a story for another time. I might have to read this on my own a little bit, learn a little bit more about it. because we are getting closer to 10 o'clock my time, and that's about when I want it to end. But appreciate you guys checking out my stream. This is my first stream, like I said. I have never done something like this before, and I've had anywhere between 10 and 15 people the entire time I've been streaming, and I thought I've been doing a bad job, but I really appreciate you guys sticking with me. You know, if you want to keep watching stuff, I think I'm gonna put this as a VOD on YouTube. But other than that, if you want, you can follow me on the Twitch channel. Like all the information is like down there, like the Twitch, Mixer, and YouTube. So please follow me or subscribe to me on there. And yeah, no, yeah, sorry about that. But you know, if I end up getting through this and it's an entire series where you can like go from start to finish of like porting a game to Palm Pilot, maybe this will be found useful to somebody. So okay, well, appreciate it, that everybody, and I'll say bye now. Wait, how do I actually exit out of all this? How do I end it? Oh my gosh.